Okay, welcome to my channel. If you've watched any of my previous videos, then you know that my truck has a 383 stroker in it. This is that motor right here. I previously pulled the motor out of my truck because I had a push rod failure after about 60,000 miles daily driving. I'm not sure what caused the push rod failure, but I have replaced the push rods and replaced a few other things, and I took the motor out to do that because I wanted to check my main bearings and rod bearings and my cam bearings and make sure everything was good. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to blow the motor up after sending a bunch of metal through it. So I inspected everything, cut the oil filter open. Everything looked pretty good. So what I have here is a Dart Block 383 stroker, fully forward rotating assembly. AFR heads, as you can see, they're 210s. It's got a Lunati solid roller cam in it, 243, 249 at 50. Not a huge solid roller, but this motor has about 10.5 to 1 compression. This is about the most, it's probably about the most cam you want to run with that amount of compression. I have a 2-piece timing cover, as you can see right here. It helps it, makes it a little easier if you want to pull the cam out and change it, which I may do. But I love this cam, it works great in this motor. Runs to 7,000 RPMs, really good. And that was with a Victor Jr. intake. I'm running Comp Ultra Pro Magnum XD rocker arms. You can see right there. I had damage to one that the push rod went bad in, so I went ahead and replaced it. But other than that, I've had no problems. These are very strong rocker arms. They're made for high lift. They're steel. People think they're real heavy, so they're not that good, but these are very good rocker arms. Most of the weight is here in the trunnion. They're just heavy duty. The tips are actually very strong. I'm running Lunati valve springs and retainers and locks. I'm also running lash caps. I had one lash cap that had a little damage to it, so I decided I'm gonna replace them. I'm gonna replace all of them. These are my old lash caps here. But the lash caps help with the valve train geometry a little bit. And, well, it gives you more surface area on the valve. These are pretty high pressure springs, 200 with the valve closed and 596 pounds with the valve open. So it's a pretty good bit. So it's pretty hard on the valve tip over time. So daily driving, lash caps really help with good rocker arms. I also run a stud girdle, as you can see, with these tall poly locks, which really helps with reliability, I think. If one of these poly locks gets loose, it's not gonna back out. It makes it really, I think it's really good insurance to have with a solid roller. I put this brand new Holley strip dominator on here. I think this intake's gonna make it run excellent. I think it's gonna gain some power with this intake. The intake I had on it before was this Victor Jr. that's right here. And the intake ports are way smaller on the Victor Jr. than they are on this, which is pretty common knowledge. However, I didn't realize that the intake ports on this Victor Jr. are smaller than the intake ports that are on this Performer RPM that I have right here. This Performer RPM dual plane has bigger intake ports on each runner than that Victor Jr. does. And I had a 383 several years ago. You can go to the bottom of my page and probably see a few videos of it. It ran really good. It had a killer mid-range torque and pretty good top end too. However, I think if I would have had that intake with the previous combo that I had, instead of that, I think it would have been better. But I think this intake right here is gonna work great. Time will tell. I can't wait to test it out. I also put a Milodon oil pan on here. I had a different oil pan before. It didn't work real well. It also had a few oil pan leaks, and I did not like it. So it also didn't have a windage tray, and it was more like a stock style pan. This Milodon has way better oil control than most factory pans for a small block, pretty much all of them anyway. It's got a crank scraper on it also, and it controls the oil and holds it down here in the pan very well. So that'll help me a little bit also. I think it's very important to have a windage tray, especially with a high revving motor, especially with a stroker motor, because that rotating assembly will create a lot of windage and aerate your oil a whole lot. I ran Valvoline VR1 oil, and the reason why I had to do that was because if I ran regular oil at high RPMs, anything over 6,200, especially if I was hammering on it through second or third gear, you could see my oil pressure start going back and forth. And especially if the oil pan was full. So the only way I could get by was running Valvoline VR1, which is great oil, and I'm going to continue to run that, but I'm going to run this oil pan to also help reduce all that windage. So it's very important. It's not worth skimping on the oil pan. If you're doing a motor like this, you might as well buy it. Anyway, that's the gist of my motor. That's pretty much what it consists of. If you don't know anything about these parts, this combination, I'm sure most people would say would easily make 500 horsepower. 550 on a real healthy motor, but 500, it should do that all day long, no problem. Should make more than 500 really. Especially since I'm not scared to run it over 6,800 RPMs. I run it up over 7,000 with this Ford's rotating assembly. So if you watch this video, thanks for watching. And I'll keep you guys updated on this truck. As soon as I get it running, I'm going to do some runs with my Dragy and just see how it does. And I'll post those, make a YouTube video out of it, and we'll see how it runs. Thanks for watching.